Hi, I'm Luann Holladay, and I'm here in my more than slightly cluttered office in Bloomington, Indiana, to read you a few poems. It's my small contribution to National Poetry Month. And because I was one of a number of poets who was invited to read up at Indianapolis Artsgarden, and because of the current situation, our strange pandemic times, instead of being there, some of us are in our own spaces posting videos, and we wish we could be there with people, but here we are. So if you're listening, thanks for being here. I want to thank Brick Street Poetry, the Tipton Poetry Journal, and the Arts Council of Indianapolis for suggesting that we do this. And I also want to acknowledge the Tipton Poetry Journal issue number 43, Winter 2020, for publishing the first poem that I'm going to read to you. It's called Night Landing, Kansas City. We break the cloud ceiling, shredding vapor, aiming for ropey strands of light and runways invisible but apparent. Thick with constellations, the solstice sky has come to rest aground, heavy with suburbs. I'm a ghost in the window, dropping foot by foot from the ether, braced to breach the vast, dark ocean of 8 p.m. The middle seat stranger beside me is elbows, knees, and shoulders, earbuds, iPhone. He and I, together in the night's reflection, are brought low, heavy bodies meeting the rough scuff of land, touching down, touching. Except not so much touching anymore, and even reading those last two lines sounds pretty transgressive right now. Simple thrills, right? So, second poem was written in response to a painting, so it's an ekphrastic poem in that way. It's called Somewhere Beneath My Feet. Somewhere beneath my feet, there is a path, compressed contours, a track of damp, serrated leaves that is kind to bruised heels and heavy arches. A tendril of fog feels like a child's hand against my hand, soft fist curling into my palm. Somewhere beneath my feet, laid out before me as a vague inclination, is a path, a direction that pulls me, arrow of a compass. If I stopped, my silly long toes would turn to roots, gray-knuckled into the ground, and I would turn blue-gray and mossy on my cold north side. I wouldn't mind growing into the landscape, riding the earth's tremors, plunging deeper and deeper towards secret aquifers, drawing bones and ash and the ever-moving breath of wind into the unbothered skin of my bark. Somewhere beneath my feet is the path, both suggestion and impulse, the forward motion and turning of the world where, at the end or near it, something flickers. Now bone white, now persimmon red, peachy persimmony, earthy red. And I remember that small perfect persimmon you found for me in an alley in early September, fallen onto the warm pavement next to a rusty nail. It was improbably intact, that tiny fruit, wrapped in powdered skin, and clean too. A delicate mouthful of sweet, sharp pulp that you gave me while we walked together on some errand of forward movement, barely aware of the path, and our feet, and our bruised heels, and the almost roots that we almost grew with every pause for a persimmon. And poem number 3 is something that I wrote just a few days ago as part of National Poetry Writing Month, and a prompt provided that was to write a poem based on an image from a dream. So this is very much a poem, at least for me, of the present moment. And it's called A Potluck Dream in Our Time of Pandemic. I never thought I'd have a dream about a potluck, but here we are. Or there I am, elbow to elbow, at the casserole table, dissing the tabbouleh for the mac and cheese. Never have I dreamed so lovingly of a crowded room and cluttered plates with smears of butter, crummy with bits of baguette. Never have I longed, even in the depths of REM, for someone's stuffy kitchen nook in the sad remains of a carrot souffle. But here we are, and there I am, suddenly in Beth's dining room, where I have never been, but here I am. Here, says Beth, leaning in close, so close that I can smell the remnant scent of her shampoo. Here, look at this. And she reaches in front of me, across and down, so close that I smell ironed linen and ozone in the fabric of her shirt. And suddenly, in her hands, displayed for me as if she were holding the work of an old master at a Christie's auction, is a box of marzipan fruit, sculpted and tinted, edible fakes fit for a queen, pears, apples, kiwi, strawberries, blueberries, bananas, oranges, lemon, grapefruit, and limes, gooseberries, kumquats, a pineapple, each nestled in its own spot, just so. I am overwhelmed by the marzipan or by the unhindered proximity of a friend, or both. I ask, who gave these to you? And Beth says, I don't know. Is that not wild? But do you want to eat one? And I say, yes. Thanks for being there. Thanks for listening. Be well, friends. Luann Holladay here from Bloomington, Indiana.